Hey there, I am D. Batman, aka the Caped Crusader, aka the Dark Knight. Or the Dork Knight if Nolan's films are any indication. As some of you are aware, I've been reviewing some books that are supposed to be direct sequels to Batman Begins. But even if you ignore that movie completely, like the writers did, the first one wasn't even a Batman story, and the next one made promises it didn't keep. So what hope is there for this one? Well, you'd think not much, but if you take a closer look at the cover, you'll recognize the Scarecrow's shadow. And of course the title helps as well. Now in Batman Begins, he was but a secondary villain. In Inferno, he was plain Jonathan Crane. And in Dead White, I don't even remember him being mentioned. So to suddenly see him advertised as the main villain, that's quite a step up. But will it deliver what it promises? Only one way to find out. It was a remarkable day, thought Alfred Pennyworth, as he turned the Bentley onto Churchward Street. He was, after all, not a normal gentleman's gentleman, nor was his passenger a normal employer, nor did they have a normal employer-employee relationship. In a city where a clown is in control, a schizo is the DA, and where law enforcement consists mostly of one man in a batsuit, what is normal? Then again, I'm thinking about the comics. This is supposed to be a sequel to Christopher Nolan's movie. How long before the writer throws that out of the window? There were 6 cars. It felt like 60. He crawled toward the lead car with agonizing slowness. He wondered why the system failsafes had not automatically applied the emergency brakes when the routing computer first logged the runaway. He quickly went over the list of possible suspects as he wormed his way toward the front of the train. Harvey Dent? Well, that didn't take long. The Joker. If he's escaped again, then God help us all. Giving the book some credit, maybe it's not a sequel to Batman Begins, maybe it's a sequel to Batman Inferno. Which was bad enough as it was, so I'm really losing more and more hope here. She hurriedly replaced the contents of the bag, glancing at the book as she picked it up. It was the latest by Gray Burwald, titled Fear Itself. Well, I suppose this title had to be shoehorned in one way or another. Following some morbid impulse, Maggie opened the book. Her gaze fell on the first paragraph, and she read without intention. Maggie suppressed a deep chill, her skin crawling. She started to return the book to the driver's backpack, then hesitated. Anyone else who's more interested in the book within the book rather than the actual book? This writer pulled a John Green before John Green did. But I'm getting off track, no pun intended. Who is this Maggie that they're talking about? He watched the journalist Maggie Tollier give a statement to the police, attuning his mask's ultra-sensitive audio surveillance system to catch her half-truths. In Dead White, all the characters were substitutes for characters from The Crow. And in Inferno, the character Enfer was a substitute for Firebug. How much are you willing to bet that Tollier is substituting Vicky Vale? Batman, the Dark Knight, the Caped Crusader, the avenging shadow that strikes fear into the hearts of Gotham City's criminal underworld. Batman. He'd hated the name at first. Of course! Never mind that he himself said his name's Batman. Okay, it should be obvious by now that these books have nothing to do with Batman Begins, so I should probably stop harping on this, but how do you feel about the notion that Batman himself doesn't like the name Batman? Captain James Gordon took a reflexive step backward. Captain Gordon? If this isn't in continuity with Batman Begins, then why is Gordon still of such a low rank? Make up your mind, folks! There were several psychopaths who had terrified Gotham City in the past by specializing in head games and mind control. That woman had been, in fact, on the verge of being frightened to death. That narrowed down the list pretty dramatically. Yeah, and who do you think that would be? The only trouble? Dr. Crane currently incarcerated in Arkham Asylum. Well, there may be some hope for this book after all.
I'm not worried that you'll write me up, Maggie the Cat.
Maggie the Cat? Now that I think about it, this book has mentioned names like Freeze, Isley, Strange, and other villains no matter how obscure, but no mention of Catwoman. I spoke too soon. All hope is lost.
Neurotoxins? You suspect Jonathan Crane had a hand in this?
It's his MO. The MO was definitely that of the Scarecrow, but the Scarecrow was in his cell at Arkham. He'd had no access to a laboratory since he'd been incarcerated. Wow. Wow. It looks like this book actually has a mystery that we want to see Batman resolve. I may have misjudged this book, which I'll admit would probably be because the other two pissed me off so much. Sure, it's made some of the same mistakes as the other two, but it does deliver what it promises. But of course, since it's written by one of the writers of the animated series, would you really expect anything less? If you can find this, give it a read. If you happen upon the other two, avoid like the plague. This was D. I'm signing off.